What is going on, all of you Mario Kart fans out there in the world? I'm Mega Am, so thank you for watching this YouTube video. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, I appreciate you being here. And just very briefly today, I wanted to reflect on the Mario Kart World Direct that literally just happened earlier this morning as of this recording. And, just kind of talk about the content that we have seen in the game, because I feel like I haven't fully talked about it outside of like live reactions. Just my overall thoughts on this game, and occasionally during like live stream chats when people bring it up. But want to just kind of put all my videos, my thoughts in this one video. I'm not going to be talking about the price here because yes, I understand $80 is a lot for a game, but I'm going to be talking about specifically the quality of the game itself, which is completely separate from the price. So, of course, I'm not a fan of it, but just wanted to make that little disclaimer here. I'm very excited for Mario Kart World. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for Mario Kart. Because when I think back on it, really the first Mario Kart game that I fully played when it was like popular and out was Mario Kart DS. And that was many years after. It was my sister's copy growing up. Enjoyed it, but I didn't have any like excitement leading into it. Mario Kart Wii, I did not have a Wii until pretty late, so I did not play that. 7 I played near launch. I don't know if I was necessarily excited for that one though. I don't know. Like, it was fun. I wasn't super hyped for it. And 8, same thing when 8 came out. I mean, I got my Wii U for Smash 4, and so Mario Kart was out a little bit before then, but I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up, why not? And I was very excited about the game itself. And then of course, Deluxe on Switch was like, it was a good version of it still. It took me a few years to get into it though, until they announced the Booster Course Pass. But here, like, I'm very excited for this game. And the reason being, I mean, the big thing for me is really all the characters. I've mentioned this a couple times, like in live reactions and other streams, where I love when games make, like, their enemies playable, or, like, obscure characters in their universe playable. Like, I love that idea. I remember before the reveal of Mario Kart World, a lot of people were like hoping like, oh, maybe it's going to be like Smash Brothers Kart, where you have all the different crossover characters. And I thought about it, I'm like, that would have been cool, and I'm still like up for it if they want to do that for DLC later on. But like, honestly, this to me is just more fun. It's like keeping it contained within the Mario universe for now, and having random ass characters, essentially, like the level of Piranha Plant in Smash Ultimate, but for like so many different characters, like having the cow from Moo Moo Meadows playable, having the dolphin from Dolphin Shoals playable, Piranha Plant in its own. So many of the Mario enemies, even the obscure ones, like the Peeper, like the Sweep, the Crab, the Sidestepper, I think it's called. Like, so many of those. The Snowman being playable, Piantas and Cataquacks from Mario Sunshine. Like, there are some really deep cuts when it comes to the roster here. I imagine the ones we've seen already in like footage and like in the trailers, that's probably the launch roster. I mean, who knows for sure. My thought is that we'll get like Nintendo crossover characters and probably other Mario characters in like DLC form. And like, if you've listened to my channel before, like, I popped off when Wiggler came back for Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass, just because it's like one of those random Mario enemies that was playable in 7 and just showed up there, and it was just kind of a weird one-off until then. And now, of course, they're back here. Honey Queen Bee, probably not gonna happen, but you never know. They have Sting Bee. Is that good enough? Just so many Mario enemies. I love this. Like, this to me, and I know this is a very personal take, is more exciting than if like Link and Inkling and Villager were back. Like, this to me is way more exciting because it's like the stupidest. You could play as a Pokey, the Penguin. Dry Bones was already there from the start. Rocky Wrench and Monty Mole are 2 different characters. Goomba, Spike, Boo and the Peeper. Well, because King Boo and the Peeper are 2 different characters. I don't know, then. It's just like, the thought of that is just so absurd that I love it. Charging Chuck, Hammer Brother, finally. Kind of surprised Hammer Brother hadn't been playable sooner. Maybe he was in Tor. I'm not counting Tor because I barely played any of that. But yeah, the characters I'm super excited for. Also, I love seeing the new tracks that they're adding, as well as the reimagining of a lot of tracks that, personally, a lot of the returning tracks I love. I was asking for both Dynam Jungle and Airship Fortress to return in the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass. Did not happen, but we're getting them here, so I'm even more hyped. And they're kind of redesigning a lot of these tracks because they now support up to 24 racers, so they have to make them bigger, which I know is a point of contention. But honestly, it's fine with me. Like, it makes them feel fresh and new, too. I don't want the exact same ones here, but it's cool to have them refreshed a little bit. And there's a few others we saw as well. Shy Guy Bazaar is one of my favorites. That's from Mario Kart 7. Love to see that. Oh no, Singby. And just the stuff we're seeing. What's really exciting me, just besides the characters, is the free roam. Because for the longest time, I don't know, like, I hear people talk about how much they love Diddy Kong Racing and the story mode in that. And this does not seem like it's going to be quite that, because it doesn't, from what we know, could be later, but from what we know, there's no, like, story involved. It's just, like, being able to drive around this open world, and there are, like, little collectibles and missions that you can complete, and I'm sure, like, unlock cosmetics and maybe some optional costumes and stuff like that, but that's enough to get me excited. Like, having some form of single player, I know you can do it with friends too, but it is effectively a single player mode in this game that you can explore to help you learn more techniques like the rail grinding, like the wall riding, and like drifting properly, the charge jump in the main races, right? That's what I love when games that are typically multiplayer focused do that. Like, that's my exact thoughts with Street Fighter 6 with the World Tour mode. Like, it was a fun way, a story mode like had its own spin with the character creator and everything, and interacting with the different fighters. It was a really good way to introduce you to more fighting game mechanics and get better at the game, and this is exactly what that's doing. And you have all these unlockables and stuff, and as someone who loves collectathons, like, I'm so down for doing all those little challenges around the open world, having all these tracks interconnected. It's really, really cool, and I love to see that. I doubt there's any story tied to it, but it's cool. And I don't think it's going to be quite on the level of the DS mission mode, where there's so many customized scenarios, because there's, like they said, there's hundreds of challenges around the world to do. But that in itself is really, really cool. And I'll be curious to see if they reveal more about what, like, the different coins and other little things around the world end up unlocking, because they haven't fully gone into detail about it. I would love, like, unlockable characters, but I'm based on the fact that they didn't highlight it here, makes me think that all of them are probably unlockable from the start. But then again, I don't know. I always love the idea of unlockable characters, you know, especially in, like, for example, Smash Ultimate. I love that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The new items look really good. Kamek, I really hope Kamek ends up being playable at some point. I love the item idea of, like, transforming everybody into, like, another costume, like, for temporarily, just for the fun of it. I love that they're highlighting costumes. That was something that just made sense to carry over from Tour. Like, you can add way more content that way. Like, honestly, this could be their chance to really make Mario Kart feel like a live service game. Obviously not free, but, you know, where they're updating it constantly with new costumes, and maybe occasionally brand new characters and stages. I'm sure there's going to be DLC, probably paid DLC at some point for this game. Like I said, maybe with the Nintendo crossover characters. But the other new items, like, good to see the Mega Mushroom back. Ice Flower doesn't seem to be too different from regular flower, but that's there. Gold Shell with the new the coins, that's cool. The Hammer is honestly probably my most anticipated new item, because that just, like, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't in Mario Kart sooner. It makes a lot of sense in terms of the functionality, but it's fun. Yeah, I don't know. And, like, this game seems to be... to me, this feels like the Smash Ultimate of Mario Kart. It feels like there's a lot of customization, not only in terms of, like, so many Mario characters and stages, but also just because of the customization, you know, between Grand Prix, you know, racing between each level, and then with friends, like, being able to, like, pick and choose which tracks you go to because they're interconnected on the map. You know, as well as, like, Knockout Tour, being able to, like, that's a cool mode to have where you, like, knock people out of the race, and the costumes, like, just having so many costume options. I will say, like, obviously they're cutting back on customization without having the, like, individual wheel parts separate from the vehicle parts, but honestly, I think I prefer it this way. I know a lot of people like in 7, and I think it was starting with 7 and 8. Maybe we did it, I don't know, let me know in the comments below, where you can individually customize the wheels, as well as the car body itself and the glider. I don't know, this to me just, like, simplifies things, and it's just like, I'll choose a cart based on the stats. I like at least that it's not, like, one cart per character. Like, that I think is going too far back. Like, let me play as my favorite character, maybe with slight property changes and, like, weight, for example. I'm sure, like, the weight system's back, depending on the size of your character. But then have it be based on the cart, and, like, just the cart alone without, like, the wheels being separate. Like, I'm personally fine with that, but not everybody is, and, like, that's okay. But yeah, I'm very excited for this game. Like, it looks like it's going to be a blast to play. There's a lot of online stuff you can do with friends. Shout out to Conkdor as well. Gotta love that. The wall riding, I was talking about, shout out to Chase. I was talking with Chase earlier about the wall riding. It seems like you can ride on almost any wall, which is kind of crazy. Like, that's going to completely change the meta. It probably means that people are going to get really good at wall riding, and it's going to potentially be tricky. Like, that seems like almost an advanced technique to ride on almost any wall. But I'll be curious to see how that ends up being in the online. Because, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any limit. It's not like the anti-gravity in Mario Kart 8 where you hit a certain section of the track and all of a sudden you can go anti-gravity. Like, no, you can pretty much ride on any wall from what we see. I love hearing the music remixes. We heard Bomb on Battlefield. We heard the character selection from Mario Bros. 2 USA. That was cool. And the rewind mode is interesting, although it's limited to single player, it seems like, but still cool to have if you're trying to perfect a technique, especially in free roam when you mess up. What I will say, the battle mode at the moment seems pretty limited. They only, in the Direct, they only talked about Balloon Battle and Coin Runners. I'm honestly surprised there's no Bomb on Blast here. Like, at least those three, so and no Shine Thief either. It seems a little limited at the moment, but maybe that's going to change later. I'm sure they could update it. But if it only launches, I mean, with Balloon Battle and Coin Runner, I mean, 90% of the time I personally play Balloon Battle, but, you know, obviously having more would be great. So maybe they'll update it later on, but I don't know, like, I don't know. There's not really much more for me to say about this game. I know there's a lot of contention about it. Yes, it is expensive. It is an expensive game. You know, I mean, I guess if you get in the bundle, it's not as bad. But, you know, being $80, it's an expensive game. You know, I'm not a fan of that. But to me, I will pay $80 for this. I will. And I'm just going to call out before anybody in the comments says this. If you're putting other people down simply because they value their money differently than you, like, I'm sorry, like, if they're excited about something and you're putting them down for being excited, don't call them a sheep. Don't call them a shill. Let people enjoy what they want. Like, I'm sorry that you have insecurities about how you're spending your money. Like, don't take it out on other people. It's fine to complain. That's totally fine. Complaints are totally valid. Like I said, $80 is expensive. It's definitely an expensive game. But if other people are excited and talking about it, like I'm making this video, don't put those people down. There's no need for that. There's no need for that negativity. Complain about it all you want, just don't put other people's opinions down. They are also valid. That's all I'm going to say on that point. I know I mentioned I wasn't going to talk about the price, but oh well, that kind of happened. But like, there is a lot of content here. Especially if you're like me and you love that kind of single player mode. Free roam seems like it's going to be so fun. Like, look at these skyboxes, look at the map. There's just like, you can literally explore everywhere in a cart, and there's gonna be, they said, hundreds of these P-switches, of these puzzles scattered across the map. Like, that is going to be super fun to just explore around and see what happens, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. Like, I could see myself putting a lot of time into this game because of that. I mean, I put enough time into Mario Kart alone because of multiplayer and Grand Prix and stuff, but like, seeing all the customization options here, unlocking different costumes, and getting the different collectibles in free mode, like, and the other modes they have on display, it seems like there's a lot here, and they put a lot of time and effort into this game. So I am personally happy to pay $80, or I mean $50 if I end up getting the Mario Kart bundle. We will see, depending on what I can get my hands on. Part of me is like, do I get $80s for the physical Mario Kart? We'll see. Also, one thing I forgot to touch on that I don't love, I know there is a sorting option for the costume characters, but it doesn't seem like you can stack them. So it almost seems like they have the costume characters as a separate entry in the select screen, and I get you can sort those, but it's still really annoying to, like, I don't know, like, do it like Smash Ultimate does, where you can either have them all out on the select screen or you can stack them, and then like, maybe that's what they'll end up doing. I hope so. I feel like they will, because otherwise that would seem absolutely bizarre. Sorting is not fully going to replace that, but hopefully they allow that. Love the Dolphin on the Dolphin. That's great. Overall, yeah, I'm excited for the content here. I think the free roam mode I'm very excited for. I feel like there's more to that mode. They still didn't show us in this Direct. This Direct didn't really give us a ton of new information, especially if you were like me and you've watched a lot of the, you know, the treehouse footage and other, like, listen to other previews about the game itself. The new thing, I mean, battle mode, seeing that was new, and a few new details about free roam. But besides that, like, I don't know, nothing super new here. So the Direct itself just felt like, you know, putting all the information in one place. So a lot not new, but like still good to have all that information in one place from Nintendo themselves. Yeah, I'm excited. The free roam, the character selection is awesome, and I can't wait to see what they do for DLC, because you know there's going to be DLC for this game. Yeah, it's just, I'm excited for it. This is the most excited I've ever been for a Mario Kart game. And despite the price, I mean, I'm going to try to get it as soon as I can, because this is one I'm going to be playing for the entirety of the Switch 2's life, 100%. It's a really smart game to launch the Switch 2 with, and, you know, we'll see what additional content they add, and, you know, how many people go online. Let's get into those 24 races, everybody. But that is going to do it for this video. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know civilly in the comments below. You know, you can mention the price if you want, if you're not a fan of it, or if you think it's fine. Just like I said, don't put other people's opinions down. If they want to play this, or even the vice versa, don't get mad at people if they complain about the price, because that opinion is valid. You know, either way, you know, these opinions are valid. Just don't attack others for what they decide is okay for them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on just the content we see here, the Direct itself. If you're going to try to get one at launch, get the Switch 2 at launch, definitely let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. Until then, get ready to hit the tracks soon enough.